Chapter 41 Lyo Adventures. When last met, Maybe its menagerie was scouring the city, looking for Perkring. Calluun and Leste soared the skies while the rest searched on foot. After about half an hour of looking, the party accepted the most likely place Perkring was Callisto's home. They all followed the streets to the address they were given, and from the outside, heard a voice booming while telling stories. After they knocked, Rana rushed to the door and invited everyone in, excitedly exclaiming how they must be the ones who Perkring was telling them about. Inside, Callisto was sat with Reva on his lap, the younger one giving Perkring his undivided attention, while the older took in the story with a greater level of concern. When Callisto noticed the menagerie, he apologized for not finding them and letting them know Perkring was accounted for, but given the circumstances, no one took offense. Callisto then stood up, taking Reva in his arms, and invited the menagerie to have dinner with him and his family. As they sat down to eat, Perkring tried his messy habits, but was quickly scolded into shape by Rana. To Nixie's surprise, there was no protest or pouting. Perkring simply cleaned himself up and ate in a dignified manner. Once the meal ended, Leste looked anxiously at Callisto and asked him what he wanted for Perkring, considering how he was an adventurer now. Before responding, Callisto asked Rana to take Reva home, and with the two out of earshot, he disclosed Perkring was rapidly approaching adulthood. While he was intimidated about his bird leaving his life and becoming an adventurer, the menagerie already proved themselves multiple times over that they could do good, so if Perkring wanted to continue, he would allow it. Leste thanked Callisto for his decision, fearful she would have to separate from another one of her menagerie, then turned the conversation to the Yazoo, asking if he had heard any of their movements. Yet again, they were told that the Yazoo went dark ever since they headed to Hala, and Perkring let Callisto know why he was going to continue with Maybe its menagerie. The Yazoo took Belle, and he needed to rescue her. At first, Callisto was confused why a gang wanted his cat, but after Perkring explained what Belle was now, he was more confused how his cat became a celestial, semi-divine creature. With night drawing in, Callisto welcomed Maybe its menagerie to stay the night, so they all started to get comfortable. When Reva returned, Perkring followed her to her room and sat on her bed with her. He took out a shiny box, and inside was the hairpin with the symbol of Calluun he prayed over at the complete symbol of Calluun and tail. She began to tear up and hugged him while he told the story of how he found the pin in Hala and continued his retelling of his adventures. After enough stories were told, exhaustion from the day quickly set in, and everyone found a place to sleep. At dawn, Perkring and a nearby rooster cawed in unison, and a hearty breakfast started the day with Perkring and Kino trading eggs for mushrooms between each other. The day then continued with Perkring escorting the menagerie around his hometown, first back to the Ash Courtyard. While they were looking at the murals again, Perkring's neighbor Ruvi introduced himself, followed by a local kobold by the name of Hathat. Hathat was quick to catch Perkring up on the happenings of his home, including how Callisto was scheduled for a promotion. Perkring then excitedly attempted to show the menagerie the town's enclosed lake, but Callisto put a stop to that on account of the serpents of the isle getting too close for comfort to the lake. Disappointed, Perkring instead took them to the Temple of Calluun, where they met the half-orc priest, Juna Torgun. Curious about what exactly happened at Calluun's hatching grounds, Perkring asked him about what the full symbol of a god meant, and Torgon explained that one is made when a deity comes close as possible to visiting the mortal realm. This was then followed up with asking what it meant if an Ashen kept following someone, and he explained that happens when someone gained the favor of one of them. Curious, Torgon asked which Ashen was following them, and was not surprised when Ludia was answered. With Perkring satisfied, Leste asked Torgon who created the murals at the Ashen Courtyard. He explained it was an ancient site dating back to sometime around the Draconic War, so the creator was unknown. Murad did, however, make sure to upkeep it to the best of their abilities, with artists from the country, most often Lyo, commissioned to upkeep the murals. Considering the accuracy of the dragons in the murals, she was impressed with the efforts taken to preserve the paintings. With no one voicing any more questions, Perkring announced the menagerie's departure, to which Torgon warned him that Rylon was looking for the bird. Perkring nodded understandingly, with most of the menagerie following him on his continued adventure. Nixie hesitated though. Instead, she stayed by Torgon and asked him what it meant to be the daughter of an Ashen. He explained that while it was uncommon, she was not unique. She had countless siblings, and this comforted her. As a final question, she showed him the amulet she found at her birthplace and asked if he knew anything about it. After a close look, he asked her to follow her deeper into the temple, where he showed her a statue of her mother. It depicted a drow woman standing in front of a dragon, wearing an amulet comfortingly similar to the one in her hands. Nixie thanked him for showing her this, then departed to meet back with her menagerie. Perkring was still escorting everyone around, meeting friends and locals, but again was stopped by Callisto when it was clear the bird was trying to bring the group to the abandoned nest. Perkring exclaimed why not, and Callisto retorted that if an abandoned serpent's nest was not already dangerous enough on its own, the serpent's heightened activity near the coast definitely was enough to justify no visitors. Disappointed, Perkring did not object and continued walking around the city. After a few hours of exploring the city, the menagerie started a break from the tour. Then a woof and poof of magic materialized a letter into Joker's hands. Surprised, he looked it over and found it was sent from Akta, Thurai, and Eva. Opening it, he learned that the Yazoo finally left Vandom and were on their way to Vidale. With that, let us continue.